Tredegar is a town and community situated on the Sirhowy River in the county borough of Blaenau Gwent in southeast Wales. Located within the historic boundaries of Monmouthshire, it became an early centre of the Industrial Revolution in South Wales. The historic Tredegar Iron Works in Richmond, Virginia, United States was named in honor of the town. History. Origin of the name. The name Tredegar can be explained as Tredegar. Degaru is Welsh for 10 acres or 10-acre. Tref means town, although its original meaning was farm or estate. Pre-industrialization, Tredegar grew as a developed town thanks to the natural resources it had within the Sirhowy Valley, namely iron ore, coal with which to produce coke, power from the fast-flowing Sirhowy River, wood which could be cut for buildings and pit props, and burnt for fuel. Hence, by the start of the 1700s, the upper Sirhowy Valley was a natural well-wooded valley, consisting of a few farms and the occasional small ironworks where iron ore and coal naturally had occurred together. Industrialization. The first recorded ironworks in the Sirhowy Valley was Pogrom, developed by two Bretons and worked by men from Penydarren, Merthyr Tydfil. The Sirhowy Iron Works was erected in 1750 by Mr. Kettle of Shropshire. In 1778, Kettle sold this ironworks to Thomas Atkinson and William Barrow, who came to the area from London. They developed it as the first coal-fired furnace, so men were employed to dig coal at Brynbark and Nantybuch, the first small-scale coal mining operation in the area. The furnace and hence the business failed in 1794. Tredegar Iron Works in 1797. Samuel Homfray, with partners Richard Fothergill and the Matthew Monkhouse, built a new furnace, leasing the land from the Tredegar estate in Newport. This created the new Sirhowy Iron Works, that were in 1800 to become the Tredegar Iron Company, named in honor of the Tredegar estate at Tredegar House and Tredegar Park in Newport in the south of the county. In 1891, the company ceased production of iron, but continued to develop coal mines and produce coal. The former Tredegar Iron Works were effectively abandoned, with Whiteheads taking over the southern section of the site from 1907. In 1931, they also closed down their operations, moving everything to the Newport Works. TICC continued to develop coal mines and work pits until it was nationalized in 1946, becoming part of the National Coal Board. Riots. The town is known for its three major riots. In 1868, there were the election riots, which took place after the locals' favorite candidate, Colonel Clifford, was not elected. Secondly, in 1882 there was a major anti-Irish riot in Tredegar. There had been a large Irish community in Tredegar since the 1850s, and for a while there had been tensions. Reports from the time vary. However, where they all concur includes the fact that the riot began with stone throwing and quickly escalated with Irishmen's homes being destroyed and furniture burned in the streets. The Irish were run out of Tredegar and some were beaten. Troops from Newport and Cardiff had to be called in to quell the violence. Thirdly, there were the anti-Jewish riots of 1911, which some called a pogrom, when Jewish shops were ransacked and the army had to be brought in. Though Jewish businesses and property were attacked, nobody was killed in this riot. Foundation. Samuel Homfray and his partners needed accommodation for the workers, and so needed to develop a suitable town. The land on the east side of the Sirhowy River was owned by Lt. Colonel Sir Charles Gould Morgan, who granted a lease in 1799 to build Tredegar Iron Works Company. In 1800, Homfray married Sir Charles' daughter Jane, and hence improved his lease terms. The west bank of the river was owned by Lord Tredegar, and hence in the short term remained undeveloped. Homfray was a hard taskmaster. He sold franchisees to business people who wanted to operate within his town, from which he would take a percentage. He paid his workers in his own private coinage, so that they could not easily spend the wages outside the town. However, the opportunity to work created a boom town, which with a parish population of 1,132 in 1801 had boomed to 34,685 by 1881, in part boosted by the laying of the 24-mile stretch of horse-drawn tractor Newport in 1805. But all of this development came at a price. Adrian Vaughan, in his 1985 book Grub, Water and Amp Relief, mentions that in 1832 John Gooch took a managerial post in the Tredegar Iron Works. There were several cholera epidemics in the town in the 19th century, and a dedicated cholera burial ground was established at Kevengolow. Governance. Links with the Labour Party. Tredegar has strong links with prominent Labour MPs and the history of the Labour Party and the Labour movement in Britain as a whole. It was the birthplace of Aneurin Bevan, who was responsible for the introduction of the British National Health Service, and who in the 1920s was involved in the management of Tredegar General Hospital. Neil Kinnock, leader of the Labour Party from 1983 to 1992, was born in Tredegar in 1942 and lived there for most of his early life, attending the town's Georgetown infants and junior schools between 1947 and 1953. His predecessor as leader, Michael Foot, was MP for the local constituency, Ebbw Vale, during his time as party leader. Tredegar, as part of the Blaenau Gwent constituency, was for a period no longer represented by a Labour MP, with the left-wing independent Di Davies representing the once-safe Labour constituency until the general election of 2010. Architecture. Bedworthty House. Bedworthty House is a Grade II listed house and gardens. Originally a low thatched roof cottage, the old house was renovated in 1809. The present Bedworthty House was built in 1818 as a home for Samuel Homfray, whose iron and coal works were the main local employers for much of the 19th century. The surrounding 26-acre Victorian garden and park, designed originally as a Dutch garden around which one could walk or ride without being confronted by gate, fence or outside features, contains the Long Shelter, also a Grade II listed structure built for the Chartist movement. Town clock. One of Tredegar's main attributes is the town clock, dominating the southern part of the town centre. The clock was made by J.B. Joyce and Amp Co. of Whitchurch, Shropshire, and was the idea of Mrs. R. P. Davies, the wife of the Tredegar Iron Works manager, who had decided that she wanted to present a lofty illuminated clock, and it was she who decided that it would be erected in the circle. The clock tower is 72 feet high. The foundation is of masonry, on which is surmounted the cast iron base, which has 4 arms from each corner to a distance of 60 feet at a depth of 5 feet and 6 inches below ground level. The pillar is wholly composed of cast iron, upon a square pediment which in turn receives a rectangular plinth, and upon this stands a cylindrical column of smooth surface and symmetrical diameter, ornamented with suitable coping on which rests the clock surrounded with a weather vane. The plinth is inscribed on the 4 aspects. On the south side, presented to the town of Tredegar from the proceeds of a bazaar promoted by Mrs. R. P. Davies, erected in the year 1858. On the west side is effigy of Wellington, with the legend, Wellington, England's hero. On the north, the Royal Arms of England, and on the east, the name and description of the founder with his crest, Charles Jordan, iron founder, Newport, Mon. The clock is provided with 4 transparent faces or dials, each 5 feet 3 inches diameter, and these were illuminated originally by gas, but this was later changed to electricity. The minute hands are each 2 feet 2 inches long, and the hour hand 1 foot 7 inches long. The clock's mechanism is a 15-inch main wheel strike, with a single 4-legged gravity escapement driving the 4 dials. It has a 1 1/4 second pendulum, and the bob weighs 200 weight. Culture and leisure. Tredegar is the home of champions, namely the world-famous Tredegar Town Band. The band is currently ranked number 2 in the brass band world rankings, above top brass banding names such as Bridgehouse and Amp Rastrick, Grimethorpe Colliery and Amp Blackdyke. The musical origins of the band can be traced back to 1849, when a local brass band from the Welsh Valley town was reported to have led a procession to celebrate the opening of a new mill for the Tredegar Iron and Coal Company. However, a formal organisation was not constituted until 1876. Threatened with extinction, local citizens met to pledge financial support, a decision that has subsequently seen Tredegar Town Band proudly represent the community throughout the brass banding world for 137 years. History shows that early contesting victories were sporadic, with recently unearthed archives revealing that the band competed both locally and nationally at lower section level, with occasional successes up to the start of the Second World War. Many of these came under the baton of Eli Shaw, the first of many remarkable conductors to have directed the band to victory in the past century or more. Tredegar enjoyed increasing contesting success after the Second World War under the direction of first Cornelius Buckley, followed later by John Childs. This resulted in the second section champion band of Great Britain title in 1973, the band's first champion band of Wales title in 1974, and victory at the Grand Shield in 1976. Firmly established in the top echelon of brass banding ever since, Tredegar Town Band has been champion band of Wales a further 8 times, Welsh regional champion on 11 occasions, as well as securing multiple pontins, Welsh National Eisteddfod, Welsh Open, Yeovil, BBC Radio Wales and Wychavon titles. In addition, the band was twice runners-up at the National Championships of Great Britain in 1993 and 2003, as well as the British Open in 1996, and claimed a podium finish at the European Brass Band Championships in 1991. The latest contesting renaissance came with the appointment of Ian Porthouse as musical director in 2008, immediately regaining the Welsh area title and subsequently achieving increasingly impressive domestic and national contesting results. 2010 was truly historic, with the band claiming no less than 7 major domestic and national titles, culminating with the unique double feat of winning the Grand Shield and the British Open Championship in the same year. 2013 has seen the band add to this success by proudly reclaiming the British Open Championship title after producing a truly memorable performance of Stephen Roberts' Arabian Nights, Fantasy on Rimsky-Korsakov's Scheherazade for brass band. Soprano player Ian Roberts won the Brian Evans Memorial Trophy, with solo euphonium Daniel Thomas claiming the Geoffrey Whittam Award. The Stanley Wainwright Best Soloist Trophy went to the band's principal cornet Dewi Griffiths. In the opinion of respected brass band adjudicator David Reed, the band's contest performance ranked close to the legendary 1985 Blackdyke National win on Cloudcatcher Fells. Tredegar Orpheus Male Voice Choir celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2009. Originally in Tredegar there were 2 choirs, a glee party and a small chapel choir. In 1909, these united under the baton of Mr. John Davy Evans, and thus became known as the Tredegar Orpheus Male Voice Choir. The name Orpheus coming from the Greek god of music. Tredegar is home to rugby union teams Tredegar Rugby Football Club, who play in the Swallow League Division 2 Eastern Tredegar Ironsides Rugby Football Club. The club was formed in 1946. There is also the nearby Tredegar and Rhymney Golf Club. Tredegar is home to Brynbark Park, a country park. Local schools. Two dame schools prior to 1828. The town school opened in 1837. Georgetown schools in 1877. First headmistress in 1878. Georgetown Senior Boys School in 1904. Tredegar Grammar School. Tredegar Secondary Modern. Thomas Richards Centre. Tredegar Comprehensive School. Dayton Primary School. Glanhowie Primary School. Georgetown Primary School. St. Joseph's RC School. Brynbark Primary School. Transport. The need for transport development came from Tredegar's industrialization. By 1805, a joint venture between the Tredegar Iron Company and the Monmouthshire Canal resulted in the early development of what became the Merthyr, Tredegar and Abergavenny Railway, connecting Tredegar to Newport Docks through 24 miles of tramway, originally powered by horses. In 1829, Chief Engineer Thomas Ellis was authorized to purchase a steam locomotive from the Stephenson Company, built at Tredegar Works, and made its maiden trip on 17 December 1829. In 1865 the railway was extended north to Nantibouch to meet the LNWR. The railway declined with the industrial works, and Tredegar railway station closed with the Beeching Axe in 1963. The closest railway stations now are in Ebbw Vale, Rhymney and Abergavenny. The proposed Cardiff and South Wales Metro has a proposed station in Tredegar, using the line closed by the Beeching Axe. Carrick by Carissa. In October 2013, local farmer Paul Morris was given a 10-month jail term, suspended for 2 years, for allowing 4,700 individual loads of waste to be illegally dumped on his land from March 2006, and made £283,000 in the process. Morris had allowed more than 87,000 tons of controlled waste to be dumped in a disused reservoir on his farm in Hilltop over a 4-year period. Commenting on the case, Gareth O'Shea of Natural Resources Wales said, "We hope the outcome of this case will send out a positive message to those in the waste industry, that Natural Resources Wales will not tolerate those who seek to profit by breaking the law, harming local communities or damaging the environment." Filming location. Tredegar has been used for numerous TV and film locations, including The District Nurse starring Nerys Hughes. In 1982, a televised version of the A.J. Cronin novel, The Citadel, was filmed in Tredegar, starring Ben Cross. The series was based partly on Cronin's experiences as a doctor in the town, where he had worked for the Tredegar Medical Aid Society in the early 1920s. This society contributed the model which established the British National Health Service. Aneurin Bevan, who launched the health service in 1948, said, "All I am doing is extending to the entire population of Britain the benefits we had in Tredegar for a generation or more. We are going to Tredegarize you." Just north of Tredegar lies the Treville region. Treville found new fame in 2005 when it was used as a location for the alien Vogan homeworld in the film of Douglas Adams's book The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. In 2011, the Treville region was once again used as a filming location for a major Hollywood production when parts of a sequel to Clash of the Titans was filmed there. On the 20th of July 2008, the car crash scene for short film Cow, filmed on the Tredegar bypass. Cow was produced by Gwent Police and Tredegar Comprehensive School to highlight the dangers of texting while driving. The movie was made available online and received widespread attention, featuring on TV news programs, in newspapers and internet forums worldwide. On 25 January 2010, the independent movie A Bit of Tom Jones premiered at Leicester Square, London. Filmed in and around Tredegar, using local people and professional actors, the film was funded by local businesses. The Doctor Who episode The Hungry Earth was filmed in Bedworth Pits in 2010. Notable people. See also category. People from Tredegar. Anterior, 5-piece melodic death metal band. Aneurin Bevan, Labour statesman, founder of the National Health Service and Member of Parliament for Ebbw Vale. Mark Colborne, gold and silver medalist at the 2012 Summer Paralympics. Walter Conway, secretary of the Tredegar Medical Aid Society, the model which established the National Health Service. George Cording, cricketer who played as a wicket-keeper for Glamorgan County Cricket Club. Vincent Cronin, historical, cultural, and biographical writer, especially of the Renaissance period. Alan Davies, Labour Assembly member for the Mid and West Wales region. James Davis, United States Secretary of Labour, founder of Moose International, the Grand Lodge of Moose in Great Britain. Bradley Dredge, professional golfer on the PGA European Tour. Jonathan Evans, Conservative Member of Parliament for Cardiff North. Bert Gray, footballer who played as a goalkeeper for Tranmere Rovers and the Welsh national team. Mark Jones, dual code rugby player who played for both Welsh national teams and Great Britain in Rugby League. Patrick Jones, poet, playwright, and filmmaker, known for collaborating with the Manic Street Preachers. Neil Kinnock, Member of Parliament for Bedworth and Nilfanion, leader of the Labour Party. European Commissioner and life peer as Baron Kinnock of Bedworth. Stephen Kinnock, Labour Member of Parliament for Aberavon, business executive and husband of Danish Prime Minister Helle Thorning-Schmidt. Stuart Lane, rugby union player for Cardiff RFC, Wales, and the British and Irish Lions. John Lewis, footballer for Cardiff City and Newport County. Christopher Meredith, poet, novelist and faculty of University of Glamorgan. Tracy Moberly, artist, author and radio show host, best known for her politically focused work. David Morgan, cricket administrator, former president of the International Cricket Council and chairman of the England and Wales Cricket Board and Glamorgan County Cricket Club. Glyn Parry, historian and faculty of Victoria University of Wellington. Darren Preen, footballer who currently plays for Merthyr Town. Berwyn Price, gold and silver medalist at the 1974 and 1978 Commonwealth Games. Ray Reardon, 6-time World Championship winning snooker player. Moses Russell, football player for Plymouth Argyle and the Welsh national team. Nick Smith, Labour Member of Parliament for Blaenau Gwent. Jason Strange, rugby union player for many clubs, currently at Ebbw Vale RFC. Philip Weeks, mining engineer and manager of the National Coal Board South Wales Coalfields. Brian White, former mayor of Tredegar and senior member of the Loyal Order of Moose in Great Britain. Arthur Henry Williams, trade union organiser and member of the Canadian House of Commons for Ontario. Phil Williams, scientist and Plaid Cymru Assembly member for the South Wales East region. Cliff Wilson, World Amateur Championship winning snooker player. Nicky Wire, lyricist, bassist and occasional vocalist of the Manic Street Preachers. Twin towns. Tredegar has been twinned with Orvault in southeast Brittany since 1979.